alternative payment methods, 3 years of development on AV. And so far, you commercially, for any of us in the supply chain, retailer, operator, manufacturer, there's been nothing in it. I mean, we have these tools available, and they're trialing, albeit, so it's quite early. But there's no mad push to get them driven into the marketplace. And I think that's quite a frustrating thing, because we all sense there's a need for alternative payment methods. We should certainly try them. We've got that now. We know there's a problem with some pub retail sites with age verification failures. We've got to try and do something about that. But when you deploy these technologies, you think it's going to be quite a widespread use case. And actually what we've seen is a very narrow focus from customers and retailers. So I think, you talk about what's next. I'm sat here now having, helped drive the decision making into investing into all these technologies. And I'd be very reluctant to jump on the next thing that might help us, but we don't know.
Wind a little bit and think about how the industry has changed when we can all hark back to pre-pandemic levels and everything like that, but I think that really signified for a lot of hospitality businesses that change between card to cash usage. So obviously speaking, if I look at the Stonegate Group business and I look at what our split from cash to card was pre-pandemic versus where it is now, we would say 50-50 holistically across the whole estate. If I look now in the rolling 3 months, we'd be more sort of that 80-20 route in terms of a cashless to card or Apple Pay, etc. But I think within those stats it's really important to say that will vary geographically up and down the country, and that will also vary, dare I say, demographically based on the brands that maybe our guests are going into. So if I looked at one of our more community-led brands out there that does exceptionally well on gaming, that will have a higher complexity for cash usage versus our more sort of hardcore city centre brands where the card usage would be a hell of a lot higher than those neighbourhoods.
We're seeing the apps are doing fantastic on more sites than contactless is, I would say. We're seeing that you can go into some bars and, like you're saying, with some of the other machines, the fly, they're taking more money using contactless or the app than on cash. For us it's fantastic because with the best will in the world, obviously you've seen from these figures, we're in music and the poor guy in the room. It's like we're on
what's on TV, so whether that be your Arabic Pro Cup balls or your match cloth or whatever it might be. So I think we are starting to see the offering in the right venues actually premiumised, which I think you can see pool teams coming back. I think from COVID as well, I think there was a bit of a reset in sort of competitive socialising. Obviously there's a lot of talk about competitive socialising within city centres, but I actually think the likes of pool, darts and even dominoes, I think in the community that is competitive social. We've been doing it for quite a while, so I think there's been a resurgence in that. I think the offering's been a lot better, and then obviously we touched on contactless, and I think we have created this now, this casual player as well, that brought that back as well, so I think it's got a lot going for it. And obviously from a retailer's perspective, the wet-led benefits of having potentially people staying for longer and playing is speaks for itself, I think. So I think in general it's a real positive trend, I think. Yeah.
And Chris, just the price to play and the jackpot hasn't gone up for such a long time is a stale point. So I think there are two things that we could look at, which are legislation based. They're both in the wash up with the white paper submission. If we get, first of all, the tech standards, I think that's the biggest win. Secondly, I'd go for stake and prize.